up
What is it?
our studio chat.
It's
No,
time.
not our studio chat, our public chat. Why do I get it wrong every week?
Time.
And now I didn't fix it. I'm feeling very old. Yeah, I literally just got home. I was in Orlando. My flight got a little delayed, but we got here and I walked in the door 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Like yeah. That's really pushing it.
It's life.
Well, next Monday I won't be here. I'll be in Greenville. So
Okay.
because
You said next Monday?
yeah, I got a sponsor dinner Monday night and then keynote Tuesday morning. So
Okay.
Who are we getting to replace him, Shell?
What's that? Who are we going to replace him with? Yeah, let's do it. No, we could be me and you alone, and then eventually it could be me and Chris alone, and then we'll have all made up for all that time that
Yeah, we can do you and me alone next week.
we could.
Yeah.
that's what she said.
Or like we talked about special guests brought in the base, we can talk about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't care. I think I paid $2 for you being late. It is not my fault that we are late, I will just say. I went through extraordinary circumstances to be here on time today. I literally was in the air, landed, drove like a maniac, and got here on time. But, life happens.
5 minutes to spare. I've been sitting here for 10.
Linda, hello. Wenjo, hello. Kevin, of course, hello. Retro Sonia, good to see you. Boston Bill, always good to see you. Blister Bid, good to see you. Looks like we got a bunch of the regular in the house. So we might as well say the spiel. Ernestine, how are you? Listen, if this is your first time, if you're new, if you are here because I begged you to be here last night, if you're a regular and you're here all the time, all of those things are good. Because this is the ThreeView Mirror. It's your weekly way of going back in time and enjoying some nostalgic conversation about three topics. Topics from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s, a Gen X era pop culture podcast. But the cool thing about this show is while we're looking back, we're also bringing forward some of those memories and talking about how it impacts us as Gen Xers today. And then finally, something about those three topics, this is where the game part comes in, is connected. There's an actor, there's a song, there's a director, there's a place, there's a thing. Something ties all three of those things together. And it's our job as co-hosts and audience to, at the end, try to guess what that topic is. Now, I have no idea today because I'm not the host. Chris, you're the host.
No.
Me. No, and I just saw Kevin said in there, I love it. Kevin made me a verb. You know what I mean? He says,
yes, we're shelling it this week. So, we're going to get through this at the end of it, and Shell will have shelled it. My name is John Catrides, better known as Gen X Channel. You can see me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I'm joined by two of my favorite people, Christopher.
Chris Clues, better known as Chris Clues, keynote speaker, author, and talk about and write about the lessons that we can learn for life and work from 80s pop culture. Find my books, Amazon, a bookstore near you, and maybe I'll be in a city speaking near you.
And I'm Rochelle O'Black, your host this week, better known as Gen X Shell across my socials. And I know you've all seen me here before, but if you're brand new, that's my screen name, and you can come and follow.
And this is the ThreeView Mirror. All righty, then. It's all yours, Shell.
Okay, I'm so excited about these three topics this week. I'm excited about the connection. So here we go. I'm just going to go right into it. Okay, the topics are King Kong.
Or what?
King Kong.
King Kong.
Rain Man, and daytime TV soap operas.
Daytime TV soap operas.
No nighttime stuff. No Dallas. This is no Dallas talk time. This is daytime TV.
Oh, I had enough sick days that in summer that I can hang. We've talked about it. You were, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you, Stacy. Good to see you, other Stacy. JTR, I said hello. Today's topics are on the board. Where do you want to start, Shell? You're running the show.
I gave them to you in the order I thought we should start at. I think we should
King
start
Kong.
with King Kong. A classic.
Yeah, and it's been made multiple times, and that's how much of a classic it is. And now it's this monster verse with King Kong and Godzilla and all these great shows, TV shows, and movies. I've always been fascinated by King Kong. In fact, I think I have a picture of me with a King Kong lunchbox
You do.
It's like
And I'm the one who told you it was King Kong.
I thought it was Star Wars, and I'm like, I really didn't like Star Wars, so I'm thinking like King Kong, and it was when you said King Kong, I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kevin asked which King Kong, and that is such a great question. I figured I would get to eventually the one I wanted to sort of focus in on, but King Kong is such a big icon in pop culture that goes way, way back into like 1933, I think the first one was. And of course, we can't speak to that one, but we, and it's still going on, or versions of it, Skull Island and all those other things that are more modern now. So he has stood the test of time, this giant gorilla. But I want to focus in on the 1970s version.
I don't think I've seen any version of King Kong ever. Not Fay Ray, not 70s, 80s, whenever it was. I didn't see the old Saturday morning after cartoons were done. There'd be like that black and white theater. Godzilla I watched as a kid. I remember watching the Godzilla movies, mostly because my older brother wanted to. Not anything that I have any knowledge on whatsoever, other than he's a giant monkey that climbed up the Empire State Building with a blonde girl in his mitts. And that's my contribution today.
That being the premise, though, that he was charmed by a beautiful woman. And it's been, like you said, multiple women over the years. And, it's that's the thing. It's a giant gorilla charmed by a woman. Men saved by a woman. So.
Yeah, and now the more modern versions, they're using King Kong as a savior of the human race, and that he's kind of with us on our side, along with Godzilla, to fight back all these other creatures. You've seen that in some of the newer versions of it. And I love Kong Skull Island, honestly. Like, that was my favorite of all of them, was Kong Skull Island. I thought it was so much fun. It was so cool. It was a good cast. But I'm still, at heart, I still love The Unknown, which is why I'm like digging this dinosaur show on Netflix right now, which is awesome. I just love The Unknown.
They're picking on John now, you realize.
Oh, they are? No, I didn't see that.
I'm putting it up. It never drew me at all. And sometimes that's as much conversation as anything else. What got us and what didn't get us. There was so much in the 70s, 80s, and 90s coming at us. It wasn't niche. It was, if today there are a million different sources coming at you from a million different places, for us, we had one theater. What came to that one theater is predominantly what I was allowed to watch. I didn't have a Cineplex when I was younger, especially people, the 70s. Never, I would have had one. It was whatever that one theater brought to town on the weekends. So there's a lot that didn't come. And so then it was hunting it out later. But by the time I was able to drive to some place where I could see things, now there was other stuff coming. I think, Shaw, you once said it, that if we missed it, if we missed something in the 70s and 80s, it was highly likely that we were just going to keep on missing it because we couldn't catch up.
Well, and the premise of King Kong, somebody says 'twas something by a beautiful lady or something. The premise of King Kong, I think if you saw little bits and pieces of the quite hokey 1933 version in black and white, everybody pretty much knew the premise of the movie. And then maybe it was one of those things where you're like, well, why do I need to see it unless it's more of a modern version? Going to the 1976 version, I saw some of the comments going by here. It was star-studded. And then,
who was in it?
It was Jeff Bridges. And, it's so clearly Jeff Bridges is, I see him as an old man, but he was so young and handsome in this movie. Jessica Lange, she was the beautiful, beautiful woman, and her name was Dawn, but they misspelled it. It was Dwan or something like that. DWAN. It was like a thing. I don't even understand it. And Charles Grodin. I mean, so we're talking like 1976 is when this was, and it was star packed even at that time. But what was neat was Jessica Lange, that was her, like, that was it. That was her. That's the reason I wanted to focus on this movie, was because that was her. It was, and introducing Jessica Lange. And after that, she became a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I was 6 years old when that one came out. So I obviously had the lunchbox. But that speaks to King Kong and Godzilla just went to another level when it came to the popularity and then being integrated into pop culture forever.
Mhm.
They've just we talk about those. There's pop culture, and then there's pop culture icons,
Mhm.
and King Kong and Godzilla like that. And I want to just quickly go back to the 30s, because what's interesting there too is that was the first like monster verse. In the 20s and 30s, you had the Dracula and Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon and Nosferatu, which they just redid from like 1922, and then King Kong in the early 30s. So there was something happening there. Maybe the makeup and special effects were at a different level than they were, just a few years before, and so they were taking advantage of that. And
how did we get a gorilla as big as a building? Like, was he a mutant?
It was something about, I think the more modern tales of it actually told it better than what the 1976 version and the earlier versions did. There was something about the island that he was found on, and there was some sort of energy source that caused everything to be monster size, bigger. And the people on the island had to sacrifice, in order to keep King Kong tame, they had to sacrifice a beautiful woman to, or someone to King Kong.
Yeah. Listen, I think the story's awesome overall. I think that I like that stuff. I'm hoping there's another Skull Island that's going to come out. Somebody mentioned Monarch on Apple TV, which is so good.
It is good.
And it's really fun. And that's that whole universe. But I honestly, I don't remember much of the 1976 one. I just remember having the stuff.
I'm just amazed that I still remember the name Fay Ray. I couldn't tell you who this woman is. I couldn't tell you what she did. I can't tell you what kind of actress she was. I can't tell you if she was in any other movies. But talk about being indelibly, permanently tied to something. I just know that she was in his hands as the biplanes were coming around.
And the one in 1976 was actually the 5th iteration of King Kong already. It wasn't like the first remake of the 33 version. Like, King Kong is just something they just keep going back to. I mean, and we still do today. So, but
76. Now, 76 was also Jaws, right?
No, 75 was Jaws.
75 was Jaws. Okay. We had a giant shark and a giant gorilla.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I'm remembering it, Jaws was more vilified. Even though he was doing what a shark does, the way the movie went, Jaws was more of Jaws, in my opinion, from the little I know, had more in common with Freddy and Jason, and he was like the monster of the movie. Whereas King Kong, I don't think he was vilified. It was just that this is what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, was he a bad guy? Did they destroy him at the end of the movie?
I think. I don't remember. He drops off the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
they don't take him back to his island and let him live happily ever after?
It's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of sad.
It is. They came and got him. Leave him alone.
Yeah. When he's up on top of the Empire State Building, they're shooting at him, and it's kind of sad.
See, that's the difference. Jaws came to Amity Island. He came where he didn't belong. He came and got Alex Kittner. That's not cool. They went and got Kong.
So anyway, since King Kong, I mean, there's I don't know that it's the longest conversation that we could possibly have is on King Kong, because there's so many iterations. But what's great is we all know the story. We all know that a woman tamed the beast, basically, and that being a theme. I don't think there's anyone, even if you didn't see it, that didn't know that was the overarching theme of the movie. So, Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. It might be the first iteration of Beauty and the Beast. So, any last and final words? Yeah, 'twas Beauty that killed the Beast. Exactly. Yeah. And I saw a couple comments go by that were incredible. I forgot to mention them, but anyway, they're gone now. I can't remember. Any final words on King Kong?
Just that I didn't see any of it, and yet to your point, I know the general plot line. I probably had a giant plastic gorilla at some point in my toy box. I'm sure I did. And then we saw versions of it enter other aspects of pop culture. If you're a comic book geek, there were other, you saw that start entering into the comic book, plot lines and stuff. So yeah, without a doubt, it definitely has its place in pop culture.
Yeah, for me, I love that there's creative people out there like that create these worlds that don't exist, and we get to live in them for a couple of hours. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Kong. It was sad because he had a redemption arc. Yeah, basically he was softer at the end. He was saving a woman, and yeah.
I also think it's the eyes, and I also think that because we all, if you follow nature and you watch these shows and they talk about the primates and their faces are very emotional, and so I think they captured that really well, and so it's in the eyes, unlike a shark that we just you see the eyes go black when they're getting ready to come after something. It's very different.
Yeah. Yep, dude got a raw deal. Exactly. Okay, so the first topic was King Kong. Next topic is Rain Man. And I please tell me you've seen Rain
Never
Man.
seen it.
You lie to me.
He's lying.
I'm lying to you.
I was like, don't you lie to me.
Definitely not my underwear. It's definitely not my underwear.
Definitely.
Yeah. 403 Oak Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, Kmart. Yeah.
The People's Court.
What was it? The game show he watched was Wheel of Fortune, right?
Yeah. Wheel.
Wheel
Fortune.
of Fortune.
Love the movie. I mean, unbelievable performances, both by Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. But Dustin Hoffman, man, kills it in that role. Absolutely incredible. I don't know if he got an Oscar nod, if he won an Oscar, nominated. Certainly should have been, just because he completely became that character.
Wapner, yeah. That's what he said all the time. Wapner from People's Court, Judge Wapner. Somebody put it on.
It's always interesting when you have a movie like that where it's hard to pin it down because the story's so awesome and it's very deep and real. And so you almost call it like a life movie. Yeah, you laugh. Yes, there's dramatic parts as well. So to try to pin it down and say, what kind of movie is it? It's almost like it's just a life movie. It's about, two brothers. And I'm sure that dynamic plays out in different people's lives with these, with one brother who, has the problems that, the disabilities that Dustin Hoffman's, I can't remember his name in the movie now.
Charlie
Babbitt.
And Charlie Babbitt.
Charlie and
Raymond.
Yeah, he was Raymond, right? Yeah. Just, and so it just, to me, it's like, it's a life movie and it was just so incredibly, two incredible actors just at the top of their game, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So 1989 winner, Oscar Best Picture. 1989 winner, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Dustin Hoffman. 1989 winner, Best Director, Barry Levinson. 1989 winner, Best Writing Screenplay, written directly for the screen. So it won 4 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Screenplay. So there you go.
And Scott mentioned that it's, how a lot of people learned about autism because that wasn't, we weren't talking about it in the same way in the 80s. And right around that time, you also had a year later, that year, you had Parenthood come out, which was with Steve Martin and his oldest son clearly having, either on the spectrum in some way, and he was really struggling with it. And they didn't talk about it in the same way they talk about today. So it's kind of interesting that a couple movies about that topic came out in the same year.
Did they ever, and I didn't go back and rewatch the movie, but of course I've seen it. They didn't call it autism, did they? No. He was just special. He just had
so it's tough to say because just a little bit I read says autism, but you don't know if that's today's version. I don't know if they said it back then.
Yeah.
Definitely would not have heard things like spectrum. There wasn't really a spectrum of autism.
Definitely
there was. Yeah. So that's changed.
What did they call
it? We keep saying definitely. I heard you say it and you say it. It's funny because you just definitely. I had to say that. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just wondering, I'm starting to think now because remember 60 Minutes would have these specials with, they would say that somebody was a savant.
Yes.
And they would be able to do some kind of crazy skill at
they would call it an idiot savant.
Well, Yeah, but then by the 80s, it was Savant. They were starting to learn.
I remember into the mid 80s, it was still, because I remember watching, I don't remember what movie it was, but that idiot Savant phrase stayed much longer than it should have. But
Yeah.
there was no ill intent with it. It's just, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, they could.
We're kind of in between trying to figure out what they're trying to figure out what it was that somebody like Raymond Babbitt had. And they were kind of right in the middle of it. But I just find it fascinating that two movies in the same year actually kind of tackled that subject with big actors and, you know, big directors. Ron Howard directed Parenthood, and Steve Martin and a whole host of people were in that. Joaquin Phoenix, Keanu Reeves.
Well, and an interesting thing about that somebody said on there that Dustin Hoffman had went with people with autism to try to learn their mannerisms and such. And I have an autistic son. You know, one of my children is autistic, and the fixation on things, I didn't until years later pick up on what the fixations were. You know, you knew he was fixated on Kmart and Wapner and Wheel of Fortune, and then he wouldn't drive on the interstate and he wouldn't get in an airplane, which is why they had to drive across the country in the first place. You know, all of that. And you don't really realize those tiny little idiosyncrasies. Is that the right word I'm thinking?
Yeah.
That, you know, are like, no, it must be this way. Like, you
Right.
know, and then a scene that stood out for me was the, you know, he's beating himself in the head, you know, the burn the baby in the bathtub. And, you know, I have personally witnessed you know, I call it a meltdown, you know, like a total meltdown over something like, no, I must watch Wapner, or that I'm not going to be able to emotionally handle it, you know, and it comes out in different ways. And I think looking backwards, they did a fascinating job at making autism and showcasing it, not showcasing, you know what I mean, but showing what it really is with those little things.
I remember not liking Tom Cruise's character at all. I just
He's a jerk.
couldn't stand him. He was a complete and total jerk. And then he softens up. And I do remember thinking Tom Cruise didn't get enough credit for his acting in the role and being the foil against Dustin Hoffman that allowed Dustin Hoffman the ability to carry his character that way. Tom Cruise really did play very well against him. And I think it took us a while to think of Tom Cruise as not just a pretty boy, but as a good actor, because he took roles like Top Gun. But if you see who he was in later roles, Born on the 4th of July, I mean, the guy's got chops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jerry
Oh,
Maguire.
there's no doubt about it. Last
Yeah.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, and even, you know, somebody mentioned the toothpicks, and just like that, the brilliance of that scene where he starts counting them, and then, you know, Charlie starts putting it together that, like, hey, wait a minute,
I can use him to make money.
do this counting thing. And then, of course, you've got, you know, The Hangover in 2009 does the whole escalator scene with Zach Galifianakis, you know, replicating the elevator, the escalator scene.
I forgot about that.
Remember?
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah, he's with Bradley Cooper, and they're just playing that perfectly.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster's in a movie called Little Man Tate.
Oh,
And that came 90s, so not too late after this.
yeah.
And there's a scene where he looks up, and they do an amazing job of it. The sun is showing through the leaves of a tree, and you just see the leaves get illuminated like one by one, and you realize he's very quickly counting every leaf on the tree. And I love it, just like the toothpick thing, where it's done. It's not coming right out and saying to you, hey, it's just cinematically done in a way that is very cool to me. The movie's great. It's one of those movies that if you haven't seen it and you're watching, you absolutely should see it. Obviously, Oscar nominated, Oscar award winning, and I probably haven't seen it in 30 years.
Same. Same. But and when I went through the like, because I sometimes when I pick out my topics, I have to refresh my memory a little bit because I'm like, okay, I've not seen this, like you said, 30, 40 years ago. And then you go through the plot and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't think I would have remembered People's Court and Judge Wapner and all that and the Wheel of Fortune had I not reread that synopsis. And then it came back like that. And I just think I think that's the reason we do this show and we talk about these things is because you pull out that memory, bring it into today, and you realize it was a long time ago, but it's still right here in the forefront, and you remember it very, very, very specifically.
The other cool thing about this movie is, as a moment in time, fashion-wise, the suits they're wearing coming down the escalator when they're all dressed up for the casino, that is a moment in time. Those suits were very popular for that specific moment in time, and that moment in time only. You couldn't wear them 5 years earlier. You definitely couldn't wear those 5 years later.
I gotta look. I can't remember.
I gotta like when you were mentioning, I remember
like the double-breasted, like tight the suits. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I see it now. Okay, I couldn't remember what they were wearing. I was like, were they wearing like Don Johnson stuff or something? I couldn't.
No, I think they were like gray, silver, very fancy. Like, but that is that look for that era, completely and totally.
Yeah.
And I still remember it. It's stuck in my head as an image.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. It was like
I just remember the game show stuff because I can just picture him like looking in the window. He's going, uh-oh. Like, he's like looking in the window. He's like, Wapner, uh-oh, 4 o'clock.
Uh-oh.
I think it was 4 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. But he kept trying to look in the window.
But I mean, as Scott mentioned, we all still remember all these lines. They had an impact, and it made its way into pop culture, and it made its way into our Monday morning conversations at school. If we saw this movie on the weekend, when we got to school Monday, we were definitely to say, it's definitely not my underwear. Definitely not my underwear.
Yes.
And, and I love the tiny little. This actually speaks a lot towards autism too. Is a tiny success. You celebrate tiny successes a lot of times when autism is involved. And I can remember when Raymond says, Charlie says, tell him, and he goes, Kmart sucks. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time he's there and he's, Kmart. Yeah, Kmart sucks. And that is one of those moments that if you know anybody with autism, that's huge. Like that's big for them to make that transition into something that they were very, very, very fixated on for whatever reason, and you don't really know why. So
I wonder if Kmart paid for that product placement.
I don't know.
Hey, buddy. So I think when I just think about now when Tom Cruise gets out of the car because he's so frustrated and he just keeps saying Kmart, and he's like, what difference does it make where you get your underwear from? And he's like 30 yards away from him and you just hear this Kmart. Like he says it really low. What difference does it make?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I start to turn because I really couldn't stand Ray. I couldn't stand his character. I remember being so angry with him and being like, you're being a jerk. Your brother can't help the way he is. But then, and I mean, I had no personal history or experience. And as you start to see it, you start to empathize. You're like, all right, just get in the damn car. We have to go on the expressway. There's no way to get from here to there without going on we already couldn't take a plane. We already couldn't do this. This is what we're doing. Get used to it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
No.
And it didn't work.
But and this also, I guess, could speak to every autistic parent out there. I don't think there's you're not born a saint. And I there are a lot of parents that, myself included, who would have these moments where you're like, because we get it, you know what I mean? But they don't. Then you take a deep breath and you're like, okay, step back, and that change in frustration, I think for him was, where he became more loving and less impatient with those things was when he really started to understand that no amount of his talking was going to change most of the things that were happening with Raymond.
And I think also, like, from a purely like pop culture Gen X perspective, this is, again, we talk a lot about 80s pop culture and why it's still resonating today. These stories, the stories that they told were incredible. And they did them in a way that took something that people may have misunderstanding or not understanding, or maybe had no association with, and they humanized it. But they did it through a way where they captured your attention. They kept it there. There was humor, right? So you could get some laughs, you get some intense parts of it as well. But ultimately, by the end, you've been through this incredible story and this great journey with these two guys. And I think, again, that's a lot of what's missing today, are these great stories that are delivered by a great director and two great actors.
And I don't know if that's I couldn't end it any better. Final thoughts. I mean, that was great. That was a great final thought on us transitioning.
My final thought was just that it's an amazing movie. You know, and it was one of those years. The Academy Awards doesn't often agree with me. I go in hoping a movie does well, and now I don't know any of them. But growing up, I'd always root for one or the other, and it never happened. This was a year where I'm like, good, they got it right. A movie I actually saw and I actually liked, with actors that I think were incredible, and they won.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay, so far we've talked about King Kong, we've talked about Rain Man, and now we are going to talk about daytime TV soap operas.
All right. John's going to know more about this than me.
Why? You didn't hang with your mom?
Well, I was going to say, when I didn't feel well and I was home from school, my mom watched The Young and the Restless. That was the only one I knew. That's it.
Don Diamont. My mom was all over the place with soap operas. She even learned, or made me learn, how to manage the VCR so that she could flip from CBS to ABC and not miss them, because they played against each other. So you couldn't watch All My Children and As the World Turns. You had to pick, because one was CBS, one was ABC. My mom would be like, I need you to tape the other one for me, because there was no reruns. Soap operas are hard work. So I was in Batesville for a con, and a lot of the people there, John Capellos, who was Carl from The Breakfast Club, as well as Ricky Dean Logan, and all were in soap operas. John Capellos did a 5-year story arc on Days of Our Lives. And he said, out of everything I've ever done, soap operas are no joke. You get a script, you're delivering it the next day.
Yeah.
You had to memorize, because you were working every single day. There was a new soap opera coming out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. You know, and he said it was hard work.
Yeah. I imagine there were no sick days, because maybe there were things written in if somebody was genuinely sick or something, but like those scenes just went on. The story arc went on, and that you expected, when you turned on All My Children, you expected to see Susan Lucci every single day, and you did, and that was what.
Now, do you remember what happened if someone needed to be replaced, though?
They'd kill them off.
No. Well, yeah, maybe, but there was a very funny thing that is specific to soap operas only. There'd be a voiceover as the scene starts, and you would hear this voice, a disembodied voice from above saying, "Today the part of so-and-so is being played by," and there would be a stand-in. And that's where you get to, I mean, sometimes people will say that today the part of Chris Clues is being played by. That was soap operas. They would just announce at the beginning that Michael Knight couldn't be there, so the part of Alan is going to be played by this person, and they would replace them for a week.
See, I don't recall that, because I consumed it, and then it was something that, like, I look back on, and maybe it was there, but I don't recall that. Do you know what I mean? I believe you.
Like I said, John, we knew John was going to know a lot about daytime soap operas, but
I've done a lot of videos on them too, because they are a huge part of something that was specific to our era. So there were stories for sure on the radio before us, and there was Search for Tomorrow and some early soap operas, but they gained notoriety in the 80s like never before. Yeah. Bo and Hope, Luke and Laura. Somebody mentioned Jack Wagner. You had Rick Springfield. You had Demi Moore as Jackie, who was a reporter on General Hospital. You had John Stamos, who played the part of Blackie Parrish. There was this mixing of big names, people who became big names. Music came into it, because Jack Wagner would play his hit song on General Hospital, because his character would be a singer.
Mm-hmm. Today, the part of Gen X Jono is being played by Bette Midler.
I could only be so lucky.
That's from one of the-
I just
It was huge. It really was. They were as big as Dallas and Dynasty in the nighttime, which is why the nighttime soaps happened at that point. They're like, hey, we can monetize this at night too.
We can make all these ladies watch TV like all day long. And then what was great was that was the prime, and that's probably where all the commercials and the jingles and the whatever, we had commercials targeted at us when the after school specials came on with the Hot Wheels and the Big Wheels and the Cabbage Patch Dolls. Okay. But in the daytime, that was when Hamburger Helper, was getting its day in the sun. And that's when Don't Squeeze the Charmin was getting its day in the sun. All of those commercials, I think, were just purely focused on the like American housewife. So
they were geniuses. They knew they had, our moms complained about how hard they worked, and they did. But my mother, for as hard as she worked, once she stopped working, when I was really little, she was needed at the restaurant. When the restaurant started doing better and we were older, for my little brother, she was home. She started coming home more. And from 1 until 4, she was watching her soap operas. Didn't matter what else was going on. So they had this captive audience. And you're right. Coffee commercials. Are you going to do Sanka? Are you going to do Maxwell House? Are you going to do Folgers? They're coming at you. Cleaning products coming at you. But they tried to get younger people too. General Hospital had a story arc that was very 007. Robert Scorpio, the actor, just passed away recently. He was a spy. And there was this button he would press on the wall of his house, and all of a sudden the wall would go away. And there are computers. And there was like this whole like 007 theme that came on. And as a kid, I came home and I'm like, cool, 3:00, I can catch this because school got out at 2:30. So I started watching that part because that was cool.
Well, they were trying to get college kids too at some point as well.
Yeah.
Because they knew they had time during the day.
Yeah.
And, it's funny though, now that and this just came to me, but it was like our TV was in 4 quarters when we were younger.
Yep.
It was the game shows, not counting Saturday morning cartoons.
No, you're right.
Game shows, soap operas, after school specials, then evening sitcom dramas.
And the after school specials, you can sub out with the talk shows because you can't forget those.
God.
They came in, they had their spot. The other beautiful thing about soap operas is, I like to talk about tropes, the evil twin trope, the amnesia storyline. They all borrowed the same damn storylines, and it just got thrown in there every single time. And it was okay because it was entertaining, and we didn't mind that it wasn't world-class writing. We don't mind that this person's had amnesia 15 different times and end up being lost. We don't mind that, there's always this evil twin. We bought the fact that in 1973, plastic surgery was so amazing that you could be a completely different person. And that's what they would do, right? When an actor finally wore out their welcome, asked for too much money, they didn't always kill him off. Sometimes they just put him in a horrible car accident where they needed reconstruction surgery, and now they're a different actor.
John's filibustering because Kevin just nailed him with a great comment.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Did you see it, Shell?
No, I didn't.
John is secretly a boomer woman.
No, but I played one on TV. I can't get back to it.
Put it up again, Kevin. It was perfect.
Like I said, I've 80% of my followers on Facebook are women. If you don't think that I hit storylines on soap operas, I give the people what they want.
Hey, listen, our favorite show had a soap opera actor on it. He played a soap opera actor on the show, right?
Yeah.
Friends.
On Young and the Rest.
Dr. Drake.
Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives. Dr. Drake Ramore. And that's a funny thing. They were always like hospitals. A lot of them centered around hospitals. It wasn't just one. And the sex, dude. Every other scene was a sex scene. That's the other thing they gave to the women. The women sat there and watched these steamy stories because there was a lot of sex on daytime TV.
It's up again.
Listen, I watched it. I don't recall that.
What, that there was a lot of sex?
No, I don't remember. Because all I can remember was watching them, and then of course the VCR tape of the things later. Because your mother, you did.
You're being funny now, or you're being serious? You didn't
being absolutely serious because I watched them, but I didn't. I don't know that I absorbed them or something. I don't. Or
Oh my God. Every other scene was a love scene. And then you know how they would split it up, right? So they'd have to go to the different storylines. Soap operas did something that most shows didn't, in that the show didn't play out where they would finish one scene before going to another. They'd start making love, and then they'd go to a different scene. Then they'd come back, and yes, they're still making love. And then they'd go to another scene. And they'd come back, and now they're done making love. But I mean, they would do that. They would start doing it at the beginning of the episode, and they'd be doing it the entire episode.
See, it's something. Maybe it was because of the ones that my mother watched. I don't know. We watched.
No, they all did it. They all did it. All of them. Even the one your mother watched.
Okay. I do not remember that portion of it.
It was the biggest portion of it. Well, there was nothing more important than that in soap operas. That is the biggest thing. They were love stories.
Well,
sometimes
away for commercial when they would zoom in
yes.
and then zoom back out, and somebody was always standing with their arms crossed. You know what I mean? And that stands out to me more than anything. No one got pregnant.
Dude, the storylines, I think there was which one was it where the woman would get possessed? And she's like floating in midair. And that's the other thing. They would make their story arc so insane sometimes because they wanted the attention of like Entertainment Tonight. Because if they got a really insane story arc, they would get news coverage on it. And there was one, Marlena. Am I remembering this right? People will tell me in the comments, but she literally was possessed by a demon. And she's like floating in midair in one of the scenes.
Do not recall.
And then, as Joey says, smell the fart acting.
He's like,
yeah, I thought you were joking. I thought you were like, oh, I don't remember there being sex in soap. It was Marlena. Okay. From Days.
You see, I remember watching it as a whole. I don't think but I don't remember hardly any of the story arcs except that they were ridiculous. And this person was with this person and this person, but I don't know. Whatever. But anyway.
And to people's points, Jensen Ackles, who was famous on Supernatural, Kelly Ripa, Ryan Phillippe, Rick Springfield, Demi Moore. You could go on and on and on. And talking to the guys last week, they said that once you went to soap operas, if you were an established actor, especially in the movies, and went to soap operas, there was no coming back. You were done. But it was okay to start in soap operas and come up. You just couldn't go back the other way. And that was a thing. But the work was hard but consistent. You always had a paycheck coming in and a fan base.
Didn't Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what's her face? Did she?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I bet you there's a huge list of.
No, there's an enormous list, tons and tons and tons. And like I said, coming up, it was a great way to get your feet wet because they're like, okay, if you did a soap opera, I know you can learn your lines. I know you can work because they worked every single day.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
and then somebody just put it perfectly. I watched it, and I mean, I didn't watch it, and I knew it was Marlena. That was the point. So many of us know, if I say Luke and Laura, you don't have to have watched General Hospital to know Luke and Laura's storyline, Bo and Hope. It was just a big deal. They said that like was around the same time as Princess Diana and what's his face? Charles. And it got almost the same kind of attention. It was an event.
Cool. Well, we're reaching the end here of time for our discussions. We've done, quick review, King Kong and Rain Man and daytime TV soap operas. And I'm wondering if you have any clue as to what the connection between those three is.
I do.
You do. Okay. We'll wait for the audience, maybe. Chris?
Sure. I have no idea. I have no idea.
I figured
you did. I thought maybe you
me?
did. Yeah.
No. I don't.
Don said he did, and I thought maybe he actually had something. So I guess we have to wait for the audience.
Oh, JTR. That's a good one. That's genius. If that's
Oh,
very good, JTR.
That's it.
it's to
Yeah.
somebody
It's
else got it
Tootsie.
too.
Yeah,
Tootsie-
very good,
that
Gina.
was
Very
good.
good, JTR.
Tootsie is the connection.
Excellent.
Yes.
Jessica
Excellent.
Lange, Dustin Hoffman.
And they were
And they play. It was a soap opera.
That's
the whole
right.
thing was about him acting as in a soap opera.
That's so good.
Like
That
literally.
is awesome. I never would have gotten it.
I thought this was going to be easy enough for people to get. I thought maybe you two would get it.
I didn't know King Kong, and I didn't know Jessica. I don't remember Jessica Lange being in Tootsie. I just don't remember.
She was the blonde, curly-haired nurse that he was fascinated with. Yeah.
So Dustin Hoffman was in Rain Man.
Yes.
Jessica Lange was in King Kong.
Yes.
It was a soap opera that they were on. So there it is.
Yeah. So the connection.
That's a great connection.
Somebody said they never watched Tootsie.
Yeah, Linda says I've never watched Tootsie. I remember seeing it. That was a one and only time seeing it.
Yeah.
I would assume it was late 70s.
No, that was 80s.
No, it's 80s. It was 80s.
Was it?
80.
Yeah.
You're right, because it would have been after Kramer versus Kramer.
80,
Maybe 82.
83, I think, maybe.
I'm guessing 82. Chris is going 83. It's 82.
82.
I think it won awards.
Oh, I'm sure it probably did.
I just remember the scene where he's walking across the street and somebody tries to steal his purse.
He uses his voice, yes. And then he says at the end something like, I was a better man as a woman than I was to women as a man, or something.
Jessica Lange won the Oscar.
Jessica Lange won the Oscar. Okay, see, because it was, you have to watch it. If you haven't seen Tootsie, it's not a multiple watch. It's not one of those ones you want to go back and you want to see it 5 times. It's so good, but it is a great movie. It's very entertaining. Dustin Hoffman does a fantastic job. He reminds me, I think back on it, he reminds me of Robin Williams doing Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, it has that vibe to it.
Before Mrs. Doubtfire.
What's that?
Before Mrs. Doubtfire.
Correct. Right. Before Mrs. Doubtfire, but it has that vibe to it, and it is good. So
but I just remember it being like, it's a great flick. Mm-hmm. And it crossed generations. I was 12, saw it in the theater. So again, not something I would have gone out of my way to see, but that's the movie that came to my town. So that movie was there that weekend, and we only had one theater, and the movies were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they played the same movie all 3 nights. And when it came on, that was part of what we did as middle schoolers. We went to the movies. There's not much else to do in a small town. Mm-hmm. So I probably saw Tootsie Friday and Saturday when it came out, because we would do that. $2 to go see a movie, we'd hang out with our friends. I remember liking it, being surprised that I liked it, because I'm like, oh, movie sucks, but we're going anyway, and it was funny. And what a great time to dress up as a woman, because you got to do like the 80s soap opera costuming. Mm-hmm. Iconic.
Shoulder pads.
Yes.
Her in big sparkly things with shoulder pads.
Yeah.
I keep saying her, but it was Dustin Hoffman. But he was, you knew it was.
He was Tootsie. Hoffman, so. He was Tootsie.
Yeah. Somebody said, John, I have to say this. It was in the comments. It zoomed past. It said, that's it. It's confirmed. John is our mothers, because you love the soap operas. You recommended Tootsie, and you love beaches. They're like, John is our mothers.
I don't love beaches. I don't know how that happened.
You did.
I was dragged to see beaches.
Somebody said Robin Williams did that scene in Mrs. Doubtfire because of the street scene of Dustin Hoffman. Awesome. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. But that whole go back and use your man voice thing, that's
right. Yeah. Somebody mentioned The Graduate too, and The Graduate is such a great Dustin Hoffman movie as well. He was very, very young then.
Yeah.
Around the same time too. We had some gender bending moments. When did Victor Victoria come out?
70s, I think. Well, no, maybe it was 1980 or 79, 80.
82, same year.
So 82.
To my point. Yeah,
So-
that was the point I was trying to make. And then when you told me 70s, I'm like, I got to shut up now. My point doesn't make sense. But there you go. Both in the same year, you had this happen. You had Yentl at some point, which I never saw.
I love Yentl.
Okay, you're allowed to. Yentl would be a road too far for me. If I said I loved Yentl, I'd be done.
That means he saw it.
No, I did not.
He did the double feature of Yentl and Tender Mercies.
But I do remember being 12 and again saw Victor Victoria. Why? Because it was at that theater, and I remember being really confused. Yentl came out in 83. So within a year of each other, all these movies. So they followed, a thing that was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, the crying game.
The crying game.
What I actually talked about the crying game because it was one of the movies at Blockbuster that I was in, and they had a prominent feature. I go, best kept secret ever. Anybody who saw Crying Game to the end kept their mouth shut. Shut. We didn't ruin that for anybody. Buddies are like, hey, did you see that movie Crying Game? Sure did. Go see it.
Like a thumbs up was.
Yep. Yep. Not a word. Oh, I heard something happens at the end. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
So somebody brought up in the comments the same time, early 80s, Tom Hanks. And,
Bosom Buddies.
And Scalera, right?
Yes.
And Bosom Buddies.
That's what I mean. It followed. It was it would do this. This thing would happen. It was even like big later on. There was a series of movies where somebody gets an idea, and then everybody capitalizes it on. Big became 18 again, became Trading Places, became Freaking Friday. They run these tropes and they run them to death, and we didn't mind. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it worked, then they just jumped on it. And
yeah,
I'll tell you what, the best one though for me out of all of them. I mean, I did really enjoy Tootsie, and it's been a long time. I might have to actually.
I'm going to watch it again. Of course I am, because I'm your mother.
Yeah, and you'll report back. For me though, like of all the movies like that, The Birdcage is my absolute favorite.
I loved it. Obviously.
Yeah.
Nathan Lane. Oh God, and Hank Azaria.
Madonna.
What are you afraid?
I might build an entire show around The Birdcage next week just because.
Are you afraid of my Guatemalaness? Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the plates. The little boys playing leapfrog.
The Greek boys on the
Scalera, not sclera, Chris.
What? That's what I said.
People are making fun of your pronunciation. Everybody's now like throwing out different names based on the way you talk.
I said Scalera.
Scalera.
I couldn't
Scolari.
Scolari.
Whatever. Scalera.
It's not Scalera. Scolaris.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Potato.
What if we called you Chris Cruz?
Tomato.
Okay.
Did Peter Scolaris pass away? Scolari.
Cool last name. What? Peter Scolari. He passed away?
Yeah, 2021.
Oh. Damn. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always got him and Rick Moranis mixed up.
I could sort of see that, yeah.
Yeah, some more.
Kevin Ramsey says, granted, they didn't pull off drag half as well as the kids in the hall. Dude, you are not wrong.
Or the Patrick Swayze movie. What was that movie?
Why am I the one answering this?
And we both did at the same time. Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu, yes. Tu Wong Fu.
My answer, let me rephrase that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. There was a Patrick Swayze movie? No idea.
No.
I don't know.
Joe's going to get off air and he's going to be like, I got to lift some weights.
Joe, lift some weights. I'm going to start doing some shots and smoke a cigar.
We love you too, Boston Bill.
Oh my God. Love you guys too. Dude, listen. I'm a man for all people.
And apparently a mother for all people too. So.
That too. Well, dude, so I'm doing Fanboy Expo in the fall, in the summer and in the fall. And the guests that they're bringing, I think I can say it now because I think they just announced it, but Delta Burke and Annie Potts, I think, are both going to be there from Designing Women. And I was a little too excited about that too. And everyone's like, you watch Designing Women? I'm like, well, dude, a lot of guys had to for it to have gotten the ratings it got it. It was a primetime show that did well. Chris, shut up.
Chris.
Olga, prepare yourself. Brace yourself.
It's okay. There was like 7%. You were like 7%. You were like 10% of the Democrats.
Brace yourself, honey. I got something to prove. Send the kid next door. Thank you, Boston Bill. Boston Big loves Designing Women. And yet I didn't see 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink because I thought they were chick flicks. So.
I'm crying.
There's no crying.
Oh my God. When I laugh really hard and really quickly, my eyes just, if you ever see me like that and I'm bawling, it means I just laughed really hard and really quick. I tear up every time.
No, Chris, so you never saw Designing Women ever?
Oh, no, of course I saw it, but I didn't.
Okay, that's all I meant. I drew the line at Murphy Brown.
No, and I don't believe that. But you actually like made it like your mission to watch it.
No, not at all. But I'm excited. First of all, I love Annie Potts to pieces. I think she's hilarious. I loved her in everything she ever did.
Yeah.
So I was excited.
Yeah, they're all great. I mean, listen, I
will say without any apologies, unapologetically, I am a huge Golden Girls fan. I did not watch it when it was on the air originally. I've watched it in reruns. Absolutely hilarious. They are amazing together. The writing is incredible. If you don't watch Golden Girls, you're missing out. It was funny.
Well, yeah, of course. Golden Girls.
Every single episode.
Yeah, I didn't watch it back then, though, at all. I just have seen it since.
Yes. I saw it.
When Bill goes, that made me cry.
Golden Girls and Designing Women are two different things. Don't try to put them together.
So I'm not the only one putting it together, Chris. So there. Huh. I bet John cried when Julia Roberts bought it in Steel Magnolias. Yeah, because I have a heart. Again, I was dragged kicking and screaming to watch that damn movie.
The correct answer is I've not seen Steel Magnolias.
Isn't that what I just said? What's Steel Magnolias? Fried green tomatoes. What's a
what?
No idea what that is.
He does.
All right. It's what is it? Well, hold on. Can we go back to picking on the way Chris says things?
But I have seen fried green tomatoes because I like Kathy Bates. So there you go.
I've never seen it.
I think the audience will agree. I did not shell it this time. I gave you enough clues for you to be able to get it.
You did great.
There's no shelling it this time. There's no Calvin Klein's involved here, and I'll never be forgiven for that one, but there's no Calvin Klein. So
No, you did it perfectly right. You connected them well. You shelled it. Listen, shell as a verb has two different meanings. Okay? There's what you normally do, which is knock it out of the park. You shell it. And then there's what you did that one time. Where there was almost a mutiny in our virtually live studio audience.
I remember that. It was one of those moments where I was like, I don't even know how to recover from this.
I'm done. The part of shell will now be played by.
Speaking of, next week I will not be here. So I don't know if you guys are going to do the show, but I'm going to be at a keynote speaking gig in Greenville, South Carolina. So you may get the part of Chris Clues is played by Chris Clues.
It'll be played by the virtually live studio audience. Shell and I will carry the load, and we'll let the studio audience have a bigger part next week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this week. Shell, you killed it.
Thanks. Hey,
especially Tootsie. Now you've done exactly what we set out to do. You pulled something from the past, kicking and screaming, and brought it to the present. I will see fried green tomatoes. I will see Tootsie and Rain Man both this week because I haven't seen them in years, and I want to. I'm very psyched.
Yeah. Great movies.
All right, guys.
Just go watch the trailer for King Kong 1976. it's something to see. Just see Jeff Bridges at that age, see Charles Grodin, Jessica Lange at those ages. Incredible.
I knew Jessica Lange was part of the connection just by you calling her out so many times. I just couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
Well, I am the host next week. I'll come up with something good, very masculine, manly, testosterone. Today's 3 topics are Rambo, Rambo, and Rambo. And the connection, Rambo.
It's Rambo. Speaking of, there is a prequel coming out, John Rambo, and Stallone is attached to it. And I just think I saw the actor they selected. I can't remember his name, but kind of looking forward to it, actually.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
I'll be on live tomorrow, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube for Gen X era trivia. And then Sunday night, Wonderful World of Generation X at 8 p.m. Eastern time, YouTube and Facebook.
Awesome.
You'll find these 2 everywhere and anywhere.
All right.
All right, guys. Peace.
The war is over, John.
The war is over. I lost. See ya.
Glad, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I'm not. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun.
No, that's from